He stole a fucking slide from the park.
That's kind of fire.
Wait, what?
No, listen. So he cut the slide off from the park, and this slide is massive. He took it to his house and built a bunk bed for his kids.
Wait, that's actually amazing.
On the one hand, property theft. On the other hand, that kid's gonna remember that for life.
Get those fucking losers out of route. Holy dope.
What are you doing?
Couldn't get it all. It's like soda.
You have to pound this back. Pull it in.
Connor, where are you going?
Right here, dude.
All right, we don't need her. We don't need her. We just need this.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Woes of Bros. I'm Connor Stoops.
And I'm Mike Bloodstein.
Oh, Mikey B, we're cooking up something hot today.
Call me the lunch lady, baby, because I'm serving it. I'm psyched, man. For those of you that are new, we are the Woes of Bros. We talk about what life is like in your 20s and early 30s and the ups and downs and how difficult things can be, but also how great things are and how to be vulnerable and how to enjoy just like partying and life and
sex.
If you're having it, I mean.
Not me, bro.
I was gonna say. Who's the expert here? But so we're super psyched and today we have somebody that is just the most incredible person. It's our first guest
Beautiful
on the podcast,
person.
and we're so fucking excited. So.
And we're so fucking nervous, but not too nervous. Don't get your hopes up.
We're a little nervous, but
no. So today we're really excited, guys. We're gonna be talking about anxiety, a little bit of
talking about
stress,
some anxiety, talking about stress.
You know how it goes. But before we get into that, I just want to talk to my boy for a second because lately all we do is talk about the damn podcast. Mikey B, brother, how you been?
I know. I feel like we only communicate through podcast text messages these days. It's like
it's not good.
It's like Connor's like, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" Ghosted. Connor's like, "Hey, Mike, so Mike saw your Instagram post. Looks like you're in a nice place." Ghosted. Connor's like, "Hey, what time you want to talk about the podcast?" I'm good around 6.
It's so true. Mikey won't reply to me unless I say, "Hey, podcast."
Yeah, because look, no offense, but my priorities are clear, right? I've got the podcast.
Of course.
I've got my girlfriend. I've got my job. I've got a list of things that I care about, and then of course on the very bottom is you.
Not even me. It's the
Not
podcast.
even you. It's the podcast. The podcast goes upside down.
Oh my God, that's too funny, bro.
No,
Well, look, dude, how you been? What's going on?
Yeah. No, I haven't. Meant to be distant. I've just been going through my own kind of things this week, and
Right.
I had that whole like the GERD acid thing, and it's just been getting worse. And I had to get a fucking endoscopy, and it's just been like, dude, brutal. They had to put me out, and it's like it's never scary. But it's kind of like wild that you just teleport through time.
It's so crazy, dude. I get that. I've had a colonoscopy before, dude, and it's crazy. Same thing being shoved in you, just different end, you know?
Yeah. Well, they do yours first, and then they do mine. So it's what
They put it down your throat.
it's one than the other. But
I feel you. It feels like you're teleporting during those times, bro.
And I it sucks, but I hopefully my health will be better soon. And I'm a young guy. I'm sure that things will work out. But you know how it is. Once when you're physiologically not feeling great, you start to mentally not do as well either. So. But ultimately, look, I'm doing all right. I'm slowly working back, and I'm psyched, man. How are you? How's your week been? What's new in your life?
Oh, dude, honestly, what's new in my life? Not much, man. I mean, I've just been, trying to keep up, journaling a lot. I've been practicing a lot of shit. I'm going camping this weekend, Mikey.
No way. Wow.
I'm going camping, man. Roughing it with the boys. Doing a lot of crazy things, camping.
Are you camping or are you glamping?
Okay. All right. You caught me. I'm glamping, bro. We got a cabin. We got a hot tub. We've got a perfectly good grill. Mikey, dude, I was just trying to look over the podcast, and here you are, bro, tearing me down.
Dude, because I know you so well, bro. Like you're not going outside with the lions and bears and shit. You're cuddled up in your little RV where it's fucking perfect 83 degrees and you're feeling great.
It's a cabin.
All right, so it's better.
It's a cabin.
It's better.
That's even better. No, but I am in a couple weeks. I'm going I'm going actual camping where I'll be roughing it. I'll be shitting in the woods. I'll be doing the whole nine.
I gotta say, if I don't see a video of you shitting in the woods with the bear next to you smiling at me, I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying
Well, I'll tell you what, dude. How about this? If I don't post it on the Woes of Bros podcast, did it even happen?
You tell me, fans.
I'm
Give
posting.
us, if we get 100 likes, no, we can't do that.
No, we can. If we get 100 likes for posting me shitting right here on the podcast. No. But it's for real. Give us 100 likes. Thanks. No, but speaking of traveling, it looks like you did a little bit this past weekend, huh? With the lady?
I did. You ever go to Carmel by the Sea? It's like 5 hours north of LA. It is like one of the most quaint, beautiful towns. I imagine it's like if Jesus was going to get resurrected, I think he'd hang out in like Carmel by the Sea. He's like,
the mans would be hanging there.
yeah, he's like,
sure.
I'm not going to Wisconsin. I'm not going to Idaho. Catch me in Carmel.
Carmel's where I'm thriving.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's super, super quaint. It's like, it's just beautiful. You walk
Right.
around and there's just like guys playing Spanish guitar, like serenading you in the streets.
That's beautiful.
I know. I saw my girlfriend eyeing one of them. I'm like, hey.
Oh! Take it easy.
Yeah. But no, dude. So I did that, and that was a great little getaway, just for like my mental health too, just to like
Right.
step out of LA because it gets so suffocating, as you know.
Yeah, dude.
And then I went over to Big Sur, which is just like a sick place with like big mountains and the water,
Wow.
and there's like cows on like the landscapes next to the water. It's fire. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's like
Big Sur is my middle name. I've not only been there, I've just driven through. I haven't actually been, but I've driven through and it was beautiful.
What did
dude.
who drives through Big Sur? Where are you going?
I was Ubering.
Ah,
I was Ubering. I wasn't even there to enjoy it. I was
like how
just
you say
Ubering. Ubering. It's a 3-syllable word. Ubering. Yeah, dude. I was just working, driving through there, so I didn't even get to really enjoy it. But it's a place that has like flowers on the cliffs and like goes into the water. There's cows everywhere. I've seen a couple dogs running rampant over there.
go.
Like they're all tamed, of course. So
come on. It's a good place to go with your friends. You take your
man.
friends and you go to Big Sur. It's a really great time.
you have a good time. Well, it's weird. You take your friends, Mikey. Yeah, You've never taken me to Big Sur.
Well, no. You take your good friends. You take your
Good friends.
you take
Good friends.
your closest friends. There.
Okay, I
like
get that, I get that.
like our guest today. Let's just say a good friend of mine who I would gladly take to Big Sur.
Oh, yes, we would bring this person to Big Sur. Yeah, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is an American actress and singer-songwriter known for her role as Phoebe in the hit Nickelodeon show The Thundermans, and who has gone on to do work in Light as a Feather and the upcoming movie Super Cool, and has countless of amazing songs such as First Love Never Lasts from her new EP Songbird, Vinyl, Poison, and my personal favorite, Take This Outside. She's not only one of our favorite people ever, but our best friend, Kira Kosarin, everybody. Let's go.
I miss you guys.
Dude, we miss you.
We're always Kira. We were like, when can we get Kira on? And then we're like, no, we don't. We're too nervous. We got to get better at it first. Yeah.
We were way too nervous to ask you. More nervous than we should have been.
We're like, she's our friend, but we miss her, and I don't know. And we're so glad you're here, man. We miss you.
If anything, I'm nervous to be on the iconic Woes of Bros podcast. This is an auspicious
you should
occasion.
be. You should be. This we've been blowing up recently. A lot of
Huge.
things happening for us.
Huge.
We got Bill Gates begging to be on. We got people everywhere.
They're loving
I
it.
don't know. I'm just listing names. Probably not Bill Gates.
They're
That was
loving
the
it.
first thing that came to mind for some reason.
Kira, the last time that I saw you, it was normal in the world. And
Normal's a
we're-
relative term, but
It was.
yeah, no, I know. We were together like all day, every day, and then just
crazy.
haven't seen each other now for a year. It's been
Dude,
wild.
Snapchat memory after Snapchat memory
Yeah.
after Snapchat memory pops up, and it's usually just you with a guitar singing your head off.
Yeah. Well, I just had like the 3-year anniversary of like my first or 2-year anniversary of my first show ever that you guys were at.
Wow.
Dude, I know when I was writing this, I was like, oh my God, like 2019, right? It was 2019?
Yep.
I have no concept of time anymore, but something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 2019 when we went
I
to
think it was 2018 in San Diego.
I didn't
Oh, I
get to
wasn't
go to that
there.
one. I'm really sad
That was
about
the
that one.
OG.
That was the OG.
Yeah, that was the OG.
Yeah.
I went, but
What was
your
the
other
first thing
shows that we
walked
did.
into?
I went to one of the ones at that really cool bar in.
Oh, yes.
Hollywood.
Oh, the underground one.
Yes, the underground
The one
one. I
right-
think that was one of the first ones.
There was one of those. It was the
No, the
arcade
coffee
one.
shop.
Arcade
Was it the
one.
coffee shop? Aw,
Coffee shop.
Yeah, mine was the cop because I met because I met. Can I say this? I met Drake Bell, and my childhood was just
Yeah.
My childhood
Can I
was
say this?
complete.
Yep, that is true. That was actually the first show I ever played, which because I had booked this like huge show for like 12,000 people in San Diego and had literally never played my music for people before.
Wow.
And I was like, I should practice. So I booked that little like coffee shop show, and that was the first time I ever played. And
Not to brag, but I low key feel like an OG now that I've been to Kira's first show.
You guys liked it before it was cool. Am I cool yet? Have you gotten there yet?
I guess so. So Kira, what all have you been up to music-wise? What's been going on in your life? What are you working on right now?
Oh gosh, so much new stuff. So I have been pandemic started.
Yeah.
I rolled out my project Songbird, which I had been working on for the year prior, and I originally had this whole plan for like music videos, and I was gonna do the whole thing and tour and shows and all of that. And then obviously the panty hit. So
The panty. Oh my god.
The panty.
Are we
The panty
slanging it already?
oh yeah.
We're slanging it.
Ever since the panorama started. So I just ended up like releasing a bunch of stuff on my own, and then I went through like 6 months of being absolutely the least inspired I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
We all went through
I hear that.
the quarantine depression and isolation. And my parents had it, and at that point I lived alone, and so I was like fully isolated. So I was going through it for a minute.
Yeah.
And then started writing again. Somebody from a label found my music and reached out. I'm not allowed to say who it is yet because I'm still in that weird like, I have good news, but I can't tell you what it is yet moment.
I feel like
It's about damn time, by the way, labels.
but-
It's about damn time.
Yeah, so no, but I've started working with a new team that I'm really, really enjoying, and a new producer, and I'm just working on this new project, and so yeah, I'm excited.
Dope.
Yeah, that
and
must-
I'm sure, just like, because I want to kind of tie this in, I'm sure it has a lot to do with our topic. We're talking about stress and anxiety today, so I'm sure you were riddled with that.
You picked the right guest.
Oh, come on. That was saucy.
Smooth.
Yeah, I got lots. I will talk my shit on this episode.
Yeah.
So talk to us about it, dude. Like, what kind of things you endured during like writing songs or coming up with a new, like starting to work with a new label? Or Mikey, what do you?
Well, I want to even
Go
take
ahead.
a step back because, like, I know you, Kira, and I know you're someone that like you have a vision and then you fucking do it, right?
Yeah,
That's a
100%.
And when something gets in the way of that, good luck. Like they're going down.
Yeah.
So for something to hit that you can't overcome, right? You have to just exist through. You have this vision for what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden you have to kind of like acquiesce to the universe.
Right.
So what was that like, having to say, okay, I have all these big plans,
Right.
but I need to take a step back and just let go because I have no control anymore.
So
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I feel like I sort of have two kinds of anxiety, right? I have situational anxiety, which is more, what I would consider like stress and nervousness and being a young person in a competitive industry. And then I have cyclical biological anxiety that I deal with that is just mental illness that comes in at certain points in my life and makes it really hard for me to function as a human being. And the biggest defense that I've built up over that as a person who deals with anxiety is A, routine, which was completely obliterated, and B, physical wellness and physical fitness. And that was completely obliterated too, or at least changed, and I had to find a way to, lose what were my kind of lifeboats, my resources at that time, and find new patterns and new routines and new structure and new things to keep me well. But, that's really hard when you don't know what the timeline is or when it's going to end. I'm not going to ramble on about this because everyone listening went through it and, in some way or another knows how.
Yeah, but it doesn't discredit how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Everyone's feeling the same way.
I will say the one sort of freeing thing about it, in terms of music, was that this project that I was releasing was like very intimate. It was sort of my like diary project of songs I had like written alone on my guitar, produced, and was just putting out a kind of more singer-songwriter acoustic-y project than I had before. And so that sort of lent itself really well to like extreme hyper vulnerability. And so I decided to just lean into it and like make my music videos on my balcony where I wrote the songs and like hike up to the bottom of our favorite hiking trail, which is still closed a year later, but I was able to sneak in the day before it closed and film myself sitting on a mountain and playing. And like,
That's the best thing that you can do about it, because we even talked about this actually in last week's podcast about like living the same day over and over again, and you're just like, well, what am I going to do at this point? And it causes so much more stress and so much more anxiety. But if you can lean into it like you're saying, and kind of roll with the punches and have not necessarily you adapt to it, but it adapt to you and kind of make it your own. Then you can kind of start taking one step at a time and moving forward. But it can be so much harder for some people. And
I think the other thing that is really hard to get a grasp of is there's such a thin line between like, be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself. This is a traumatic time. Give yourself time to heal, and you have to pull yourself out of some dark places sometimes, because that victim mentality will destroy you. And it's impossible, because we all, in a way, a lot people more than others, deserve to be mad and to be angry and to say, fuck this, I'm getting drunk every day. Like, I just, life doesn't matter right now. And then a certain point hits where you're like, oh no, this is still my life. Like, time is still ticking on. This is just life now. How do I like adapt and try to bring back some joy?
Especially at a time right now where like every external stressor exists, right? Like you could try to fortify yourself all you want. We are like so vulnerable, or we have been so vulnerable this past year, because every excuse that we've had to kind of like put our anxiety aside has just been like, we've had to confront.
Right, yeah, we deal with distractions a lot, and
there's
those
no
distractions were all taken away.
All of them. And so for me, it's gym is a big one.
Me too.
Gone.
All of our coping mechanisms were yeeted, and we just went, all right, cool.
They said, hey, Control-Alt-Delete. Thank you. Goodbye. Good luck.
But you know what I gained? I gained my refrigerator. I gained
my 20 pounds.
Dude, I got you all beat combined. Your boy, drum roll please, 60 pounds. It's not
a year?
Good,
you
dude.
are
In a year,
beautiful human inside and out, and you have changed your body in either direction that you've wanted so many times before. You will be able to do it again as soon as that's your priority. Right now, your priority is survival.
Her answer was way better than mine.
What was yours? Get it together, you fat fuck. What was yours?
Mikey was going to look me in the eyes and say, fuck you.
Mine was just, I looked at the camera, I just went, in a year? In like a complete gasp.
Oh, Mikey B, I missed you.
Mikey and I, during the podcast, we really love to do dramatic looks into the camera at specific points just to make the other person feel really bad.
Oh, I know.
About
I'm an
themselves.
avid Woes of Bros consumer.
Are you?
No, come on, baby. She's watched episode 1, 2, and 3.
I watched your first 3 episodes while blow drying my hair this morning, and it was lovely.
Thank you.
Did you like it, Kira? Honest opinion.
I did. I truly did. No, I think you guys are. I mean, there's a reason I love you both and spend time with you, because you are fun, wonderful humans. But yeah, no, I loved your little piece on like toxic masculinity, and I want to go back in time and punch your teacher that made you weigh in front of the class.
Yeah, wild, right?
Way too much.
Connor,
that must have caused a lot of anxiety.
I loved the comparison episode. There's some good bits. You guys are.
Well, you know, I think that like for us, and it's so good because we want to expand our audience and expand our mindsets, and it's really, we wanted to start this because I think that a lot of people don't focus on their struggles. A lot of people focus on the highlights, and why not, right? Like, we want to seem strong in the world. We want to put our best foot forward. We want to look brave and powerful and creative, but like there are so many things behind the mask. And for us, it's like we can still focus on all the successes, but let's just take the mask off and understand that there is more to a person than just those.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, for what it's worth, I think in this past year, if there's anything we've learned, it's the power of like community and at least being together in our struggles, because we all deal with a lot more of the same stuff than we probably usually realize.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the craziest part is everyone thinks that they're alone and everyone thinks that they have nobody that they can talk to, but in actuality, like you just said, everyone's going through the exact same thing in a different way. Some people handle it a little bit better than the other person does, but in reality, like just it's hard to do at first, but just walk up to your friend and say, "Hey, look, I'm struggling with this right now. Like, can I talk to you?" And 9 times out of 10, if they're a good friend, they'll be like, "Fuck yeah, sit down, let's talk."
You know, one of the things that got me through like the first season of the pandemic, as it were, is I sort of had this moment.
Season 1.
I sort of had this moment where I was like really at odds with how I use my social media, because you know I've built it as it's a business, it's a brand, it's an advertising, it's a marketing, all of these things that it was never originally intended to be. That it can be a wonderful tool, but it's also just exhausting.
Right.
But I had this moment where I was like, I, in this moment, need to use this platform I've built of however many people and just use it to be like, I'm not okay. Who else is not okay? Can we talk about it? And it was how
Me for 500.
Yeah, it was how I like connected with my sort of 3 closest friends at the beginning of the pandemic who sort of like we started Zoom calling and just like being
That's
like,
great.
are you okay? Just making check-in points, just people to say like, hey, can you text me on Friday and see if I'm okay? Because if I'm not okay, I'm probably not going to want to reach out. And just having that
100%.
network of people was a game changer.
So, Kira, can I ask you, what are some things that you kind of do, like, day to day when you're starting to feel those stressors or anxiety? Like, what do you kind of do to like reroute your brain or get everything on track?
So this is not a fun answer that anyone wants to hear, but like self-care is the boring stuff. And it is the stuff that counts the most. It is getting enough sleep every night. It is going to bed at the same time and getting up at the same time roughly every day, which is stupid. There's so much good stuff on Netflix and we should be able to stay up till 3 every day and be fine with it. But realistically, like I realized halfway through quarantine, I was like, I can't go to bed at 5 a.m. and wake up at noon and be my most productive self. I would like to.
You're just depressed too. You're just like, you wake up depressed. The sun is out. You're like, what have I done all morning?
Yeah. Physical movement. Mike, you know this. You guys both know this. You guys are both people I know who take so much solace in like the endorphins of the gym, and it sucked to lose the gyms and the yoga studios and everything. I started just walking up the hill behind my house 3 times in a row, and that equaled like an hour long workout. Drinking a lot of water, and to be honest, the biggest one was to stop self-medicating.
Really?
No.
Yeah,
Wow.
because it's such a vicious cycle. No matter what you're using. You know, the thing with substances that are meant to help anxiety is that a lot of the time they do, but a lot of the time there's a rebound effect.
And the second that you stop taking it, it can just...
That's what I'm saying. There's a rebound. You stop taking it and then you're more anxious than you were before. And there's a time and a place for every vice, and every vice affects every person differently. But I had to face a hard truth halfway through that I was making things harder for myself, not easier.
Yeah. It's I feel like we're on like zigzag or like crossing planes here, because I am now getting into self-medicating.
Nice,
as you're leaving it, which by the way, I'll be where you are soon. I knew it was getting bad when everything is legal, by the way. It's like just like antidepressants and whatever.
Yes,
and
same.
I knew it was bad when I
not
like
antidepressants,
just like
but legal. Sorry.
No, yeah, but legal.
just to clear up what was happening.
But I knew it was bad when I could like text my doctor and be like, "Hey, bud, need a prescription," and he would text
And
me.
he's like, Mike, it's 2 a.m. Stop hitting me up, brother.
Dude, I honestly like I didn't even go to my doctor. He just like filled some shit for me like that, and I don't know. For me, it's like I know it's not good, but I've been on stuff before, and if I was feeling anxious again, I just self-medicate because I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't need to see a doctor. Like, what are they going to know? I've been on antidepressants for years before. Like, why don't I just figure it out? But it's just a crutch temporarily. You know, my goal is to get back to not needing it.
And for what it's
and
worth,
that's the-
sometimes you
that's-
need a crutch. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with when you need a crutch for survival. You know, when you break your foot, no one says keep walking till it heals. You put on a boot and you put on crutches. But if you're in those crutches for too long, then the muscles atrophy and you can never walk again. Whoa, can we just have a moment for that metaphor? Because that was fire.
Bada bing, boom.
Bada bing,
Yeah, that's
and a
kinda fun.
little
That was
bada
it.
boom. Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody, man. It really is. I don't know. I feel like also I don't know if you guys like encountered this, but I feel like trying to mindfully use or not use social media has been a big one.
Yeah.
Because
Oh my
like
God.
TikTok was like a really fun thing at the beginning of the quarantine to like have something creative to do, and that it also felt productive because it was helping business and career, but it was also fun, and then it became something that was so stressful and overwhelming and difficult.
Can I ask you a question? So, first of all, I want to shout you out because, no joke, I mean this from
Shout
my
out,
heart.
Kira.
Like, you are
Shout out.
the best person I know at like being a leader for like social change. Like you use you use your platform. You're saying like, oh, recently, no. During the riots, like you were the person that everybody looked up to, even when you weren't there. And we're saying, yo, Kira's fucking like really like into trying to like make sure people are aware, and that's awesome. So like that's not lost on me. Like you are a champion for the little person, and I admire
really
you for
appreciate
that endlessly.
It definitely sometimes feels like I can never make everybody happy on social media, but I feel like I've just gotten to a point where I'm like, Just gonna try to stand up for as many people as I can. Try to use the platform because what else is it good for? I'm glad that it comes across that way. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
So how do you balance that? Like, because look, that's like a whole beast. Like you build this machine, right? And it can self-function, but really it requires so much commitment and mind. It's like real estate in your brain. And so have you hit a point now where have you balanced it? Are you strictly going to do like social causes, or like how do you reconcile who you want to champion? Like I don't know, brand wise or just image wise, is there something that you specifically that speaks to you?
I have generally just been led by as much, and I hate this is a buzzword and it sounds immodest, but like authenticity as possible.
Yeah.
In the way that like, I try to research as many things as I can. If it's something that resonates with me, and a lot of things do, then I share it. If it's something that, basically the over-under is I feel like if it does more good to talk about, then it takes time for me to do it. I might as well. And usually it is pretty quick to do something on social media. So for the most part, that over-under is that. The thing that's been interesting for me on socials is that I've sort of intentionally or otherwise built like a brand based on vulnerability just because I don't have the energy to keep up anything other than that. Like I don't have the energy to do appearances, and it's hard because I've been told by a lot of people like, hey, if you're trying to be, and if you are, a pop star, you need to be less accessible. You need to be more enigmatic. You need to be more cool and mysterious. You post less, post more, just high quality content. You need to be making songs every day just for TikTok, and you need to not be posting a photo unless it's a magazine cover. And like that's just not the way I operate. Like I would just rather be like, yo, this is what my life is. Like I'm just a person and I make music, and if you fuck with it, then that makes me really happy. Yeah, that's probably I don't know if that's right for my career or not, but it's just what we've done, and so it's what I've just continued to do.
I think it's exactly what we need because, it gives people a false positive of a world that we live in if you don't show your vulnerability. They're like, okay, this person does this, and they're always 100%. So then when they go to face that battle on their own and they start feeling all weird and wonky and like, why am I not where this person's at? They didn't know that you felt like that. You know what I mean? So it's more beneficial for you to show that side of you. And I think it's really great that that's what you want to show off with your persona. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. I also just feel like, being a woman, being anyone on social media is so competitive, but like women are so competitive. And I'm
talk about it.
Drop facts.
Let's spin it, baby. We're waiting, Kira.
Let's call it names.
Yeah.
No. Who specifically?
I feel like I pride myself on being someone who like genuinely wants the best for every girl I see and doesn't feel in competition with them. It took a long time to get there and a lot of like conscious work, but now as an adult, like, every person who I see, I want to succeed because I don't think any of us is really in competition with each other in any way. We're all on completely different paths, and if we are all bringing each other up, it's just a better place for all of us. And so I feel 100%. Like the more I can use my social media for that too, the more I feel like I'm assuaging my guilt of having such a large platform because at least I'm using it for good and for things that I believe in. Yeah. I hope that doesn't sound preachy. I'm hearing myself back. I really don't want anyone to think I'm trying to like...
Not preachy, but at the same time, fucking preach, dude. We want to hear it. That's why you're on here, dude.
It's also,
we want to hear what you have to say.
Fucking nice. Like, that's it. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, people are... And I get why people are mean and angry because the world sucks. The world is unfair. Yeah. The world is cruel. The system is just a mess. Like, things are bad. Life is cruel. Life is torture. And I see why people are mean. But, like, God, wouldn't it be nicer if people just weren't?
What about your support networks? Because I think that's something that is so important,
I will say having the world's healthiest and most wonderful relationship is a help. So if you can achieve that, highly recommend.
Plus, y'all look cute as fuck.
Thank you.
Y'all are adorable.
I managed to stumble upon the quite literally the most brilliant human being I've ever met in my life. He is.
I got to talk to him for like 10 seconds on FaceTime one time, and he was the sweetest man I've ever spoke to. Mikey, I got one up on you.
He seems good. He's a great guy.
He is not only brilliant, not only driven and amazing at everything he does, and empathetic and kind and silly and sweet and just so understanding and creative and just I observant. I can't say enough incredible things
Okay,
about
now
him.
explain how you feel about me and Mike.
Oh my God, you guys are.
She's lost for it. Lost for it. There's just too many. There's too many.
I'm
There's too many.
overwhelmed. You know.
She's overwhelmed.
Of course, 100%. No, but continue.
He's also my music making partner, which is such a once in a lifetime thing.
That's
That's
crazy.
dope.
You guys have like everything together.
Yeah, my best friend and the love of my life, and the only person who's ever completely understood me musically. And
Wow.
you know, we're making music that finally feels like what I've been trying to make my whole life. So,
By the way,
if you can
I
find that, I recommend it. It helps.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I was gonna. So, how does having a strong circle help you stay focused and avoid your stress and anxiety? Like, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. You know, going back to the biological side of things, you know, without going too far into detail, just because it's a little scary to talk about.
Right.
Basically, what happens is I have 3-day periods where I cannot function. My brain does not think properly. I am broken down. I am hopeless. I think everything in my life is not worth doing. It gets really bad, and I get a little unable to like know sometimes what is my anxiety telling me stories and what is real. And so having a support network around me just to be like, that's not how you felt 3 days ago, and that's not how you're gonna feel in 3 days. You're fine. And
Right.
you know, you don't need to panic about this. We got you. If you can't handle this today, like, we're here. You're not gonna be alone. You're gonna be okay. Is just such a game changer. I mean, I've you know dealt with it alone in the past and survived, but it is a lot nicer to have people around you who can just remind you when things feel world ending and soul crushing, that they are not, and that everything is temporary. You know, it's like a bad trip. You need a sitter there to be. I mean, what are drugs? You need someone to be there.
I have no clue.
You need someone to be there to be like, hey, this is just right now. You're gonna be fine, I promise. And
Yeah.
anything that happens, we can work on together and fix it.
100%.
You know?
That's
It's so
true.
interesting though in relationships too, how anxiety manifests in different ways. You know, like
Yeah.
there were times I had to learn it, but like there'd be times where my girlfriend or I would be like mean to each other and be like,
Aw.
shh, just snap at each other really quick or whatever. And it would usually be because I was anxious about something and I would be like taking it out or
Right.
or vice
Yeah.
versa. And it's small and it never means anything.
Yeah.
But
We are-
but it was just a small manifestation. No. Yeah, that's it.
We are comically over communicators to the point, like, first of all, we both very much feel each other's energy, and so if anything feels shifted, we're both like, hey, you feel a little off. What's happening? What do you
Yeah.
need from me? Is everything okay? But like, we're also very like, I'll be really mad and I'll be like, hey, I'm in a really bad mood and I'm really angry right now, and I just want you to know that if I snap at you in the next hour, it's not because of you, and I love you so much. And he'll be like,
That's the
okay,
move.
do you need alone time or
dude-
do you need me to be here? And I'll be like, I don't know, but I'll tell you in a few. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna just wait here and be here for you if you need me. I love you so much. And I'm like, okay, bye.
But that's so important, dude. Communication is so important. Like,
Yeah, it's great.
I'm jealous of that, dude. I'm really jealous of that. That's beautiful.
It is a special
I'm single,
thing.
ladies. I'm single. I'm single.
Yeah,
It's
Connor,
it
wait.
is also a factor. It is a factor of like we've both, without getting too far into detail, like we've both lived lives where our own mental well-being and physical well-being was imperative to our success and our survival.
You got to look out for each
And
other.
so we've both like spent our lives learning our own triggers and our own like needs
Yeah.
to stay healthy and sane and safe. And I think that's always really helpful when you're trying to deal with a relationship. You know, it's a lot
100%.
easier like when he's having a bad night and he's like, I'm having a rough night. I think I need to go to the store and I need to cook, and that'll make me feel better. And I'm like, cool, you know what you need? You do it, and
It's
then
a
we're
word.
back on the same page. Yeah.
That's amazing. He could just figure it
That's
out. I
awesome.
usually just scream or cry.
That works too.
like,
Mikey's go-to is screaming.
That
And then I
works
just like,
too.
I hope that it works out. No, look, communication is obviously key. I guess for me, like it's not even the anxiety as much as it is just having somebody that understands you just inherently, right? Like
Yeah, we all just
it's-
want to feel seen.
that's all.
and whether
That's
that
all.
is a friend or a relationship, you know, it correlates all over the place
Yeah,
with that.
100%.
Yeah. So, all right. So you tackle this whole big project. You put out, Songbird, which, by the way, huge fan.
Thank you,
And
babe.
Yeah, massive fans.
and
Dude.
so-
I'm jamming to that in the car.
so now, like we're still in the pandemic, right? Obviously, like hopefully things are starting to clear up. And I heard that LA might be in the orange zone soon,
Yeah,
which
we're
is
getting
really
there.
great.
My family and friends are almost all of them vaccinated now. We're moving
Wow.
towards normalcy.
Yeah, which is
Awesome.
huge. So like what next? Now do you like start to plan for those like tours again and and everything like that?
I have taken to considering the future but planning the future less in
That's
the
good.
pandemic.
That's great.
Wow, I love that. Can you repeat that? Honestly, can
Kinda
you
gonna
repeat
get a
that? 'Cause
tattoo
that's
now.
yeah,
beautiful.
I still
No, I love that.
I consider the future, but I don't plan the future. And look, I've been very aware the past couple of years of the cycles that my life usually goes in. And in terms of a creative project aspect, my life generally goes, I put out a project,
Sure.
I tour the project. Then I come home, I live life, I make memories, I make mistakes, I grow, I meet people, I get inspired, I bank inspiration. Then I have a period of time where I'm writing, I'm recording, I'm working on music, and then the process starts all over. Then it's release time, then it's tour time, then it's lifetime. So my life has kind of gone in these cycles forever. The pandemic shuffled all of that around, but I think that my brain still works in that way. So, right now I'm in the taking all of my inspiration from the past year and putting it into songs, whether that means I'm taking snippets I wrote a year ago or writing new things entirely. I'm in the studio every day. I'm kind of on my healthy grind, keeping my voice healthy, keeping my body active, getting kind of prepared.
Yeah.
The next thing will be music video shoots and maybe some digital, shows here and there. And then it's going to be maybe tour if that's a thing. And if not, it'll just be making more music. I'm also kind of going into a new sphere of the business that I haven't really done before. So who knows what's coming? I don't know. My boyfriend just moved in too. So I'm also like 3 months into living with somebody for the first time and doing everything that comes with that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, so you guys are living together?
Yeah. Oh, he's the one. It's game over.
Dude.
Oh my God! Wait,
Yeah.
Kira, you're getting married soon, dude.
If the proposal the proposal needs to be live on the Woes of Bros.
Bros, if it's not,
That'd be the biggest-
is it even a real proposal?
That'd be the
That's
biggest
question.
mistake.
A
Stake of
Woes
your
of
life.
Bros exclusive.
A Woes
Guys,
of
you see
Bros
it also-
proposal.
It's gonna be in the link down
Whoa.
below. Check it out.
Whoa, like and subscribe if you want me to get engaged
Like
on the
and
podcast.
No, but I think that's a good note though, Kira, is like kind of like, living for today and kind of preparing for tomorrow. I think that's like a really massive aspect on kind of defeating anxiety, not really worrying about what's going on today, but living like in the present moment is a massive thing.
Wow, you really do therapize in this. I just realized
Yeah.
something. So
Let's talk about it.
Past just like flash for her eyes.
yeah, I just realized, I think I figured something out through songwriting that I have sort of applied to the rest of my life subconsciously and didn't realize until just now, which is when I write songs, it used to be that if I wrote a song, the inevitable subsequent feeling was panic because I was like, what do I do with it? I have all these songs. I have to put them out. They're living on my computer, blah, 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 blah. And now I've gotten to the point where when I write something, I write it. And now it's in my list of things I've written. It's there for me. And later, if I want to keep writing, I grab a little piece from this or a little piece. Or I go, oh, yeah, there was this song. Or maybe it was a song that I wrote and I'm going to write another song using pieces that I figured out in the first song that I don't even realize. And it's all just about everything that you do, every piece of content that you watch, every person that you talk to is building up your inventory as a human. And as a creative, I do that as a writer. But I think I've just realized I've sort of taken to looking at my life a little bit like that too, of like every experience that I'm having and everything that I watch and every person who I talk to is just adding to the bank of me. And I'm trying not to stress about where I'm going to use those things and how I'm going to implement them to make money or make them part of my brand, and just sort of try to be okay with like self-building being enough for now, because that's what your 20s are for. Like your 20s are for, I mean, I know people say your 20s are for messing up, but I think your 20s are for building who you are as a human, and then that's the human that's going to go through life for the next however many years.
Yeah, it's those stepping stones that lead you down a long, beautiful, well-lit hallway. You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
God, I hope so.
Also, I will
hope so
say, like,
too,
it's
dude.
happening. It's happening later and later now. Like, our generation, obviously, so different than our parents.
Oh, yeah.
And success is just like, it's a little bit further, I think. And so, if people are in their early 30s and they're still figuring shit out, like that's okay, right? Like, we're all still in the process. It's so funny. Someone said the funniest thing to me the other day. I like came home and I was like, dude, it's like a buddy was over and I was like, dude, like this guy is so successful. Like I met him and he's crushing it and he just bought a Tesla. And he's like, wow, Mike, the fact that our generation now uses a Tesla as the beacon for success. For our parents, it was a house. For us, it's
Me and
a
Elon
Tesla.
Musk are tight.
Right.
Yeah, like what's it going to be for the next day? It is crazy because the world is a little bit more, I don't know, maybe it's less
Everybody's-
accessible.
Everybody's standards are different. I got a comment. I do not snap back on comments often. You know me, I'm all like kindness on the internet.
Yeah,
Let's all
yeah.
be friends.
Yeah.
And especially because mostly I have children following me, and children are
Right.
angry and they take it out on celebrities because they don't think celebrities read them. And
dude.
Be nice to Kira.
I got a comment.
Be nice to her.
I got a comment. I posted this video about my music career, which, by the way, on the low was something that I had to post because of a relationship that I have. You know, I whatever.
Right.
Sure.
And somebody commented, your music career is only successful because you were on TV. And I was like, is that a
Oh.
burn? I was
Yeah.
like, wait, you're telling me that my I should be upset because my music career was bolstered by my television career. Like, those are good things. Like, my goal as
Yeah.
a human
Yeah.
is to have a diversified palette of
Yeah.
creative things that I do that all help each other and all keep me creative and not being bored. Is this a bad thing in your eyes?
Dude, and it's like people like that right now that are really, honestly, as sad as it sounds, are affecting the world massively with those kinds of comments because there are people who aren't as strong
negativity.
as you,
Yeah.
Kira,
Yeah.
that are out there fucking doing that.
I actually responded.
And kids
to
are
that.
just
That was
losing
the
their
first
shit.
one I
What'd you say?
responded to in a
What'd you
while.
say?
I
She
said exactly
snapped.
that. I said,
Oh, really?
I said, you're telling me that my TV career helped my music career. Sick burn, bro.
And then you probably got 900 comments that were like, hi, Kira from Germany. Hi, Kira from Spain.
Yeah.
By the way, I was on TV, bitch.
Yeah.
I
might as well
don't
just
even-
mic drop.
I don't even mean it like that. But look,
No, no, I know.
I feel this way about everything. I feel this way when people say, "Oh God, you know, look at Zendaya and Bella Thorne. Zendaya is so much more successful." And I'm like, well, Zendaya has more esteemed awards and a more traditional career, but Bella is traveling the world doing something that appears to fulfill her and making a lot of money, and
Yeah.
that might be her metric of success. And
Yeah.
it was
Yep.
one of the ways that I was able to get myself to stop competing with other women in the industry too, is because I would look at them and I would be like, okay, I'm not going to name a name, but there's one person in particular who I'm thinking of who's had sort of a similar career path as me. But she's had arguably bigger numbers on her songs and bigger movies that she's been in. But she's also been through a lot more hardship and heartache in her life. She's struggled. She's been through, you know, really devastating losses and really tricky things in her life.
Right.
And I look at that and I'm like, you know, you've had more quote unquote success. I've gotten quote unquote luckier to not have, you know, as many painful situations. Like we are both just people trying to go through life, get wins where we can and deal with
Yeah.
pain where we have to. You know, things like that are what make me sort of go, you know, you can't judge your success or your happiness as a human based off somebody's career points, because we're all going through entirely different life situations, entirely different starting points, you know, entirely different goals. We want different things out of our jobs, you know? I'm not going for ultimate fame with my music. I like the level I'm at where I
You
can
love doing
go
it.
to the store and not have a mob. I just want more people to listen to my art and respect the work
Yes.
that I do because I think it's really good. That's my goal. Addison Rae's is to, you know,
Blow up.
do as many things as she can to be like, we all just have different goals
Right.
that we're trying to do, and it drives me
Right.
crazy when I'm going on a tangent. Somebody shut me up, but
Yeah.
you know what
Kira,
I'm talking about.
shut up.
No, this is
Shut
good.
up.
It's true because me and Connor just compare ourselves to each other. So it's kind of like an
Yeah,
it's kind of
well,
like an
I-
echo
I
chamber.
compare you guys to each other too. Do you want to know who's winning?
How are we
Wait,
coming
Kira,
out?
be honest. Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite?
I think with that on that note,
It's
on
Mike
that
or
note,
Stoopstein.
That's great. No, so go, Mikey. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that was a good. First of all, everything that you said is true. It's like, and we did a whole episode about comparison, especially in like the digital world. It is absolutely asinine. It's good that you've risen above it because it is so difficult to.
Yeah.
But I think it all starts with just like self-awareness, right? Like that's the
100%.
first way to combat it. Is just like, okay, I need to be self-aware to know that I'm confident in my situation, and everybody's paths are so different. And it all does tie back to anxiety and stress, because if you don't do that, if you don't rise above it, you live in this fog of anxiety
Yeah.
and stress.
It's true.
You know what? It's so funny that you say that. Like this methodology that I live my life under now of like, we are all peers, we should all support each other, blah, blah, blah. really all just came from a survival mechanism when I was 13, which was I was being crushed by how much I was comparing myself. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that I, as a person, compared to a lot of other people, had objectively accomplished a lot. But compared to the people in LA, and I know, Connor, you were talking about this in the comparison episode, I was 13 joining an industry, fighting against, fighting, quote unquote, competing against kids who had been acting since they were 4. And I had joined a ballet class with kids who had been dancing since they were 3. And
It's crazy.
It felt like I was behind. And because I was never someone who was the best at one thing, I was always someone who was pretty good at a lot of things because I liked a lot of things. And I never took the time to be the best at one thing because I wanted to just do as many as I could. I feel like I was constantly comparing myself to the person who was the best in each thing. And it was just destroying me. And I literally think I just said to myself one day, I was like, okay, every time I see a girl who I feel jealous of, I'm going to try to flip that switch and feel exactly as excited for her as if it were me as I right now feel jealous. And I think it took me 2 years of actively telling myself this is just what we're going to do. And we're going to just fake it until we make it. And eventually it became my first instinct. It's last night I was at a restaurant for the first time in months. And there was a table of women next to us celebrating a birthday. And they were all wearing outrageous outfits. One of them was 6'4" maybe. Don't know what her story is, but I assumed could have maybe been a trans woman or, just clearly people who look a little different than the average people. And I found myself staring a lot just because they were fun outfits. And I had a huge smile on my face because subconsciously I was like, these women probably get stared at a lot. If they turn around, I want them to know that I'm staring because I think they're stunning and fabulous and beautiful and not judging them. And my dad caught me. He clocked me smiling.
Oh, shit.
And he was like, are you smiling at the table? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, God, you really like women, don't you? And I was like, well, that's a whole other conversation, but yes. I just wanted to make sure if they turned around, they knew that I'm here to
that you're appreciating them.
An ally of a woman, be cute outfit. It was a funny moment that I was just like, it's nice to feel like I live my principles, even if it's by accident.
Yeah, that's
I was
awesome.
a little drunk, and that's what happens.
That's how it goes, dude. I love that, Kira. I think that's really great.
I will say it's this is the first. We always try to drink a little bit before a podcast because it gets us feeling good.
Dude, Kira, I'm not gonna lie. I was super nervous to have you on here. I know Mikey was too.
I
know, but that's what we said.
It's our first guest. It's our first guest.
I know.
It's our first guest.
We
felt bad because we had you actually we're changing this. Actually, we're
changing
this.
I
We
do want to
felt
make a comment
so
on that. I do
bad,
want to make a
dude.
comment. Yeah. So we had Kira. We changed 85 things on her last second because she is our first guest. And so it was all right,
Throughout the
Kira.
day.
The
But
time
last
is this.
minute, he means all day today and yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot of changes. It was here's a Zoom link, here's a Google Hangout. She's like, which one do I go on? I'm like, it doesn't matter. 5:45, 6 o'clock, 6:45. Pick it. She's like, what am I doing right now?
Meanwhile, I have my dad, my incredible Papa K.
He's the man.
man.
Give me a shout
And
out
he's
real
like,
quick.
I was like, hey, can you help me? I'm doing this thing in the studio and I want to run it through the mic, but what we need to film, and I'm their first guest, and so there's some tech stuff. And so I'm relaying everything to him as you guys are relaying it to me. And he's like, wait, that's not going to work. And I'm like, yes, it is. And he's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, I think it is. So I go back to you change it. I go back to him again. He's like, wait, I still don't. So
Kira,
finally I was
Kira
like,
and
can
her
y'all
dad
get on a
call me.
3-way call, please? So I called Connor. I called my dad and I was like, yo, Stoops, Papa K, collaborate and listen.
Let's talk. And we stopped, collaborated, and listened, and it was beautiful. And now we got this beautiful little song happening right now.
Oh, wait, was I supposed to be recording? I'm just kidding. Speaking of making beautiful music, I can't wait till you guys can come hang out in the studio and listen to the new stuff and vibe.
So
Kira, we gotta jam out with
We
you.
have so
We're
many
almost
plans.
there.
Once the world opens, you guys are my first call. I can't wait.
We love that. Well, Kira, thank you for giving us your feedback on how
super
you feel
helpful.
about
Seriously.
stress and anxiety.
I don't
hope
remember
a lot of
anything
people
I
can
said,
relate.
but I hope there were some valuable tidbits in there. It's all
Girl,
a blur.
you were spitting some fire facts.
Out of
Just
all the
know that.
languages I could have spoken, I chose facts.
If we therapized you, you therapized us, and we love that.
A little mutual
so
therapy,
Kira,
cute.
yes, it was beautiful. But Kira, thank you so much. And guys, right now we're gonna go to our sponsor for a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Dope.
Thank you. Oh my God, Mikey, do you smell that, bro?
What?
I don't what me, dude. I know it's you. I can smell you from here.
Kind of every week, it's the same thing with you. It's just like Mike stinks. Mike stinks. You hurt my feelings, dude. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, well, dude, I have to hurt your feelings because you're not using one of my favorite soaps, Dr. Squatch, dude.
I know I should, and everyone's loving it. We actually had a couple of our first purchases through our link, which is kind of nice.
And if you too want some Dr. Squatch to yourself, you can go down to the description and click the link below because you can find not only your favorite scents, but all natural soaps, body washes, and shampoo, baby, for the low price of $7. And if you click our link below, you also can get 15% off. You're welcome.
But Connor.
Oh no! What, Mikey? What's up with this shit, bro? What?
Connor, I can't shower anymore because it's bad for the environment. I saw TED Talk about it.
Yeah, well, Mikey, I'll tell you what else is bad for the environment. You not smelling good. So, guys, go get your Dr. Squatch today. Just rub a little soap on your body. It's all natural. It's not gonna hurt a thing. Click the link below. You'll thank us later.
Dr. Squatch.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Woes of Bros. Mikey B,
What's up,
buddy, we
baby?
got some fun fucking articles for y'all.
Yeah,
Dude.
We try to keep it current, as you guys know. We try to keep it reals with you, and we try to keep it weird. And every week we're gonna bring 2 weird articles to you. And
It's the articles that you didn't ask for, but we're bringing it. Kira, how do you feel about crazy articles?
Oh God, I love all of them. That was a grammar joke, and I'm so sorry I made it.
it was like
Just
way
know
above my head.
I'm not literate enough to get that joke.
I had no idea. I was like so far
Oh,
beyond
I'm
me.
so sorry,
We
guys.
love that.
First rule of public speaking: know your audience.
So, Mikey B, I guess if we want to keep the trend up, you usually go first with the
Yeah,
article.
why not?
You want to hit
Why
this
not?
one up?
I'm not even gonna read it. I'm just gonna tell you about it.
Bring
All
it on,
right?
let's
You
see.
love doing that.
I'm
Mikey
just telling.
loves doing
I'm just
that.
telling. All right,
Can I get
so
my
talk
funky hat on for article time?
Are we psyched?
You
Let's go,
better.
baby. Let's go.
You
let's
better.
Go. All right, so there's this guy. We're gonna talk about stress, by the way. This is a real stress situation. My boy, he needs some money, right? What does he do? He goes, he
needs
buys a
what?
lottery ticket. He needs some money,
Okay, yeah.
some moolah.
Cha-chang.
Goes to the store, buys a lottery ticket, gets the numbers, goes home, realizes that he just won $1 million in the
Shut
lottery. Goes to
up.
check his pocket, and the ticket is gone.
No way.
That's kind of a big deal, bro. Imagine that shit.
that a real story?
So then,
Dude,
he goes.
that's some Connor Stoops luck. I'm not going to lie.
I know it's crazy. And anyway, he goes back, and there's a like a car, and it's on this like little piece of paper. He's like, "No way, is this it?" And he has to convince a guy to move his car without letting him know the lottery ticket is beneath there. So he's like talking to the guy. He's like, "Yo, please, like, just move your car. Like, you're in a zone." He's like, "What do you, dude? My car is fine." He's like, "No, I'm gonna call the cops. If you don't move your car, like, you gotta go." The guy pulls out his car. The fucking lottery ticket's right there. He got his money, won $1 million.
And the guy didn't even know that there was $1 million lottery ticket underneath his car.
No idea. That's it. That's
What
it.
the? Kira, how would you react if you just realized you lost $1 million lottery ticket?
That's like a game
So
changer.
fun fact, it is documented that many large-scale lottery winners have actually had really awful times with it.
No way. Really?
yeah.
I've actually heard that. Like, people die in their family once they win the lottery. Like, that
What?
kind of
Yeah,
shit you're
there's,
talking
there's
about?
a lot of factors, and it's hard to know kind of what the convergence of all of the variables is. But I think it is some sort of combination of, you know, as you accrue money, you learn how to handle that money. And when you go from having no money or less money to a lot more money, A, you probably don't know how you're meant to handle it, invest it, who to trust with
Right.
it. B, it can bring a lot of family members out of the woodwork to start asking for favors, guilt tripping you,
absolutely.
blackmailing you.
Yeah.
A lot of lottery winners actually ask to be kept anonymous because it
Yeah.
can ruin their entire lives.
In the state of Pennsylvania, you're not allowed to be anonymous.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, you're legally not allowed to be anonymous.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be surprised if there became tax issues because all of a sudden
Yeah.
you might be
Yeah.
dealing with income taxes in a different way or gift tax or in a different bracket.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that just like a lot of things seems on its face like just about pure gold and has a lot more nuance and shit to it than you would think.
The fact that this man, though, lost his lottery ticket and then went
And then found
back
it.
and found it, and that nobody also, like, that guy's memory must have been insane. The fact that he realized
true.
without having
Yeah.
a lottery ticket that he won $1 million. Like, what the hell?
I know. It's,
I don't.
Oh yeah, like
I
he
bought
remembered all
lottery
the
tickets
numbers.
before.
Yeah, because I guess he had like his lucky numbers or whatever, and he played them. But
Crazy. Well, I hope he's having a wonderful time of it.
yeah,
I hope he's
is.
invested in some property and some nice assets that will
This is like-
have a good amount of interest and
this is like a month ago, so I imagine it's all gone. Based on what
Was
you
it a
said.
month ago?
Yeah, it's gone. I'm sure it's gone.
Damn.
I know,
because
I
it's
know.
all
All
been
right,
given
well-
to charity. No, I'm just playing.
Wow.
No, I'm
Anyway,
kidding.
great story, Mikey.
Thank you.
That's great, Mikey. All right, so I'm torn with mine because I don't know if this guy should be a convicted felon or the number one world's best dad.
All right, let's
So
hear
this
it.
guy, Dustin Allen, the age of 30, was arrested in Burbank this past Tuesday.
Okay, close by.
Guess why?
Why?
He stole a fucking slide from the park.
That's kind of fire.
Wait, what?
No, listen. So he cut the slide off from the park, and this slide is massive. He took it to his house and built a bunk bed for his kids.
Wait, that's actually amazing.
On the one hand, property theft. On the other hand, that kid's gonna remember that for life.
Yeah, you look at your dad, you're like, wow, my dad is so cool, but you don't realize he's just convicted of felony,
Also,
bro.
complicating factor, I'm pretty sure that all of the parks and playgrounds have been closed until we've come into red tier, which means they have not been usable, and he stole them just in time for it to be allowed again. But now it's his.
Yeah. I want to know if this man was a one-man band or he had some people
He
with him,
needed people,
because
dude. You
I'm
don't
telling you
steal.
what, dude, you're not carrying that slide by yourself,
No,
bro.
that's how big is it? Did they say how big the slide was?
Let me see.
I don't know, slide size probably.
Slide.
Well, like,
It's massive,
That
bro.
means
Think of
that's
a
like
swirly.
a crane. You need like a crane to
Okay.
do that. You can't
This
just
like a
that.
little-
this says
Oh,
this says
like a little playground.
A little scoop de whoop.
A little scoop.
a little scoop diddy whoop.
Scoop-diddy-scoop.
This says Lee, with the help of other detectives, executed the search warrant for the man's home and found a gigantic. It's in quotes, gigantic
Oh, it's big.
slide.
Do we have any evidence that this is not the man who pulled off the Hollyweed prank?
Oh my
Honestly,
god!
Similar
Honestly,
set of
I'll-
skills required.
There's one
I'll
guy that
post
just
it right
goes
here.
around pulling
I'll
off these
post it
major
right here, but
things.
here's his mugshot. Boom. And then here is the Hollyweed guy's mugshot. Boom. There you
Which
go.
feels-
I don't know. Do they look alike? Who knows?
Comment down below.
Comment down below.
Wow, wild stories,
Wow,
guys.
dude.
Nice,
I don't know.
Connor,
Would
nice.
you, Kira, would you have been impressed if Danny came home and was like, "Hey,
I brought you
Kira,
this.
My
got
dad.
you a slide."
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a 23-year-old woman, I would be concerned. As a 4-year-old child, perhaps.
No, here's the thing. I think even as I'm 25, if my dad brought a slide home, I'd say, "Oh hell yeah, let's get some water and
hell
soap on
yeah.
that bitch and let's go." Oh hell yeah.
hell yeah.
But I also have an 8-year-old niece and a 5-year-old nephew, so I'm sure they would have loved that more than me.
Cute.
So
Well, Connor, I love it. That's a good story. That's a good dad right there. That's 5 out of 5 dad points. Let's move to the woes that people write in for us. You know, like
I love that.
Bring on the
Hey,
woes.
just to catch everybody up, if you're new, you know, every week we bring in 2 different woes that other people, you know, fans of ours have, or just audience members, and we talk about them. Because it's
Fans,
not just
and by the
about
way,
us.
people who can't stand us, you know, whoever
feel like-
writes
yeah.
in, really.
If you hate us, you send it to us. It's usually death threats, but it's you know.
We'll take it. We'll
To
take
each
it.
their own.
We'll take it. We're begging for
But-
comments. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but also if you guys want to ask us any questions, you can email us at thewoesofbros@gmail.com.
Oh, shit,
so
y'all
feel
got an
free to
email?
email us. We got an
we're
email,
fancy.
baby.
We're
Kira,
profesh
we
AF.
professional as hell. Yeah, we're not any just regular podcast. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. So,
So,
I'm
um,
gonna start us up
So,
here.
Mikey, you have the email. So why don't you go ahead and read those off? And Kira, we
All
would
right.
love your input on these.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This. All right. Number 1. I feel like it's always good. We always have one girl and one guy, by the way, which I like.
That's what I love.
That's right, equity.
Come on.
Hi, bros. My name is Sarah. My question is that I am someone who doesn't normally have depression, anxiety, or stress.
Wow, lucky you.
Good for her. So, how can I be there for my friends who do suffer terribly from this? It's actually a good question.
That's a very good
a great
question.
question.
That might be too good for the Woes of Bros.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, whew, what do you guys think? How do you, if you don't deal with something, how do you can't sympathize, you can only empathize. You know, you can't really, you could be there for them, but how? What do you guys think?
I mean, it's a hard question to answer because it's such a case-by-case basis. I'm going to just speak from personal experience here. My boyfriend does not have anxiety or depression.
Wow.
And
Really?
is somehow miraculously still a really wonderful support system for me. I think the biggest things are things that you're probably already doing, which is to let them know that you believe them and their experience and to not invalidate
Yep.
it. You know, to empathize, to let them feel whatever they're feeling. You know, don't try to rush them through what they're feeling. You know, feel free to ask, do you want company or solutions? That's always
Sure.
a really welcome question. You know, do you just want me to be here with
Absolutely.
you while you feel terrible, or do you want me to help you try
Yes.
to come up with things that might make you feel a little better? I think research is always great. You know, you have the whole
Massive,
internet at your disposal.
massive.
That being said, don't take what you see on the internet at face value, because everybody who struggles with various mental illnesses needs different things. But it can help you sort of get a frame of reference for maybe what questions even to ask your friend. First of all, I just want to say, like, you are wonderful for wanting to be great at this, and that is in and of itself, you are already ahead of the game. Just wanting to know how to be there for somebody who's struggling is half the battle. And if your friend sees that, which I'm sure they do, especially if they watch the Woes of Bros podcast, they will be grateful and appreciate that.
I think that's a good point too, Kira, because most people who can't relate to it won't choose to relate to that. And so I think it's, one, Sarah, really good that you are choosing to relate to that and help your friend out, because it can be something that, for people who don't understand, it can be something that's very crippling to another person, like Kira was sort of touching base on earlier. Yeah.
It can be
super scary. And it can be to the point where you kind of start to, like we were brushing up on earlier, victimizing yourself, and you kind of dig yourself into a deeper hole. So even if you don't know how to help them, just being there for them and showing them that you can support them and that you're listening to them. And like Kira said, not discrediting them. I think that's a perfect way to put it, Kira.
I think the other big thing, and this goes for taking care of or being there for anybody, is you have to fill your cup first so that you are at your full capacity and your full emotional capacity and your most patient self. And that means taking care of yourself. So making sure that you draw boundaries where you need to in a loving way. It is, the best for both people if both people are drawing their boundaries where they need to, get their own selves to the place that they need to be in order to interact with each other.
Also, I mean, like, you have to also sometimes understand that if you don't have anxiety or whatever, maybe you don't have to fully understand it to be there for the person, right? Like, I remember I had my first panic attack when I was like 15 years old, right? And I was 17.
And your last one when we were on top of that mountain?
Literally, oh my God, that's a whole other story.
That's a story for another podcast.
I missed that day. I feel so.
Do you miss that day?
I think you might be the only one.
I don't miss that day.
I know Dal was there.
I still
and your
go
little
back to
brother
that
was
day.
there too, Mikey.
Yeah, he was also panicking. It was a blood-stained panic off.
It was a family panic attack.
Blood-stained family panic attack.
But you guys saw this. You saw the sunset, I think, right? I didn't block it too much. But no, the point is though, like I had this panic attack, and before that I never really understood it, and I had friends that had anxiety, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't really get it. And then I had a panic attack, and it was this crazy thing. I drove through a fence. It was like a James Bond movie, right? And I was trying to get myself to the hospital, but I was driving while having a panic attack, while not knowing I was having a panic attack because it was my first.
Right.
So I was flipping out. But then anyway, regardless, I have that, and then I feel like it opened up my mind a little bit to other people that have anxiety, because now I can relate a little bit more with like what they were dealing with. The point though is that I always kind of understood, and if I tried a little bit harder, I didn't need to have a panic attack to understand that, right?
Yeah.
Now I look at it, people that don't have anxiety, they don't necessarily need to know how to just like be there or comfort somebody or tell them to breathe. And that's awesome that your boyfriend is so good at that, because to not deal with it but to still be so empathetic is just like highly emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other things that's like been really nice for us to sort of get to a level where he understands what I go through a little bit more. First of all, a lot of, things like anxiety or depression are just far more extreme versions of things that every human has felt at some point in their life. And so, maybe you've never felt crippling anxiety, but maybe you felt like, some of the symptoms for me on a physical sense are heart beating really, really fast, and nausea, and the fogginess in your brain that you might have when you have a cold. The way that I like to describe it a lot of the times is like a pit in my stomach saying something is really wrong, but you don't know what it is, and it's because there isn't anything wrong. It's your body producing the chemicals that say sign the alarm for whatever reason when there is nothing to be sending the alarm about. And so having those conversations about just what those physical manifestations are has been really nice sometimes, because I can be like, hey, I'm having an anxiety day where I'm having really bad physical symptoms, but I'm feeling okay mentally. Or I can be like, hey, I'm having an anxiety day where I am feeling like you might hate me, even though I know you don't. I'm feeling insecure about my body.
Oh, I
I'm
do that all the
insecure about
time. I do the same
relationships.
thing.
Voicing it, yeah.
I do the same. I'm like, dude,
This is where I'm at right
feel like
now.
Yep.
And he's able to be like, that's cool. I will tell you you're beautiful a million times so you believe it, but also you don't have to right now because your brain's being mean to you and you'll be fine in a week. I think of it as a brain cold.
Dude, honestly,
Yeah,
there
that's
are
a really good way to put it.
there are mornings where I'll wake up and like I'll just like look at Carolina and I'll just shoot up and I'll be like, I feel like I'm on the verge of losing everything.
Yeah.
And she's like, what?
Or I feel
And I'm
like everything
I'm
I've
on the
done
ver-
is useless. I feel like I have
everything
no
is
future.
useless. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I usually wake up in the morning with my girlfriend too, and I'm just like,
the
hey,
mirror.
babe, like I just.
No, but it's true. It's a real thing. And I like how you use it as alarms because it's so true. Like it's just little things that are so pernicious and just get bigger and bigger. And it's great you have a support network. And I hope that this person, continues to try to champion their friends and help them and be there as a resource.
I also want to just really quickly mention anybody who feels like you might be going through something. If you have the kind of relationship with your parents where you can, it's worth asking your parents if they've ever had any sort of mental health struggles in their life. Because I was talking to two of my friends about it this week, and one of them, I have a friend who is bipolar, and he didn't know that like 3 of his family members had bipolar as well.
Wow.
And then I was talking to a friend who like goes through cyclical anxiety and depression, who didn't know that his dad went through that either. And I as well, like I didn't know until I was older than I would have liked to that my dad and I have a lot of similarities in the way that we emotionally process or get overstimulated or whatever else. And like, I remember we had this whole conversation and I was like, I wish I had known this earlier because it's so nice to know that certain things are just genetic. I get my hair from my dad and my cheekbones from my mom and my anxiety from my dad, like
It's so true, dude. I mean, look, I met my biological dad 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
and so like now I'm starting I'm not talking shade on him or anything, but like I've started to notice the things that I wondered where I got it from or why I think this way, where I'm getting them. And it's so crazy. And it really does help shed some light on that.
So talk to your parents.
But I think that's great. Yeah, exactly. Talk to your parents. This is a great way to put
If it is safe to do so. If it is not safe to do so, there are a lot of places on the internet where you can go, where you can talk. There are hotlines, there are support systems. If you're LGBT, call the Trevor Project. There's a lot of places you can go if you don't feel safe with your parents.
And we'll put those links down below in the description if you guys are watching us on YouTube. So
I love that.
Just feel free to check that out at the bottom.
Put the National Suicide Prevention Hotline and a few places down there.
100%.
Yeah.
We'll absolutely do that. All right, Mikey B. So what do you got for question 2,
I got one
brother?
more, guys. I got one more, and I'm loving this one. Ready? Hi, bros. My name is Sam. I sometimes get to the point where I drop everything because of the way I'm feeling. Me too.
I hear that. Dude.
How can I keep myself accountable so I do not avoid responsibilities? That's like, dude, that's me to a T because I will get in these
That's me.
holes and I will be like, cancel everything. It's all, I see my calendar. It's like, boom, I'm free for the week.
What do I got for the next month? Cancel it all.
I have that moment and I crumble. And it's the least positive, like least beneficial thing to who I am. And I can't stop it. And I don't know why. I just think that it's super, super relatable because it does not, it exists, anxiety exists outside of success. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care how well you're doing. Like it is something that can exist in its own vertical.
Yeah.
And for me, I have plenty of things going on, but I will cancel every single thing and stop holding myself responsible if I feel anxious. And so I just really relate to that.
Well, first of all, for Sam, dude, pat yourself on the back. The fact that you are self-aware enough to want to better yourself in that way, that's massive, dude. And that's already a step forward because what the first step to moving forward is recognizing your flaws or recognizing what you need to do next. And I think that's a massive part.
What do you think, Kira?
So I think that in a situation like this, the first thing you have to do is prioritize what needs to get done regardless of my mental health. And what can I safely put off till later in a way that's not going to come back to bite me in the butt?
Let's go.
And the biggest tool you need for that is self-awareness. And the fact that you're asking this question means you have the self-awareness to be asking those questions. So first of all, you're in a great place. I think really the biggest thing I would say is in those moments, prioritize and say, okay, what is the bare minimum? First of all, try the things that make you less anxious, right? If you wake up and you're like, oh God, I had so much I was going to do today, but now I'm anxious and I'm struggling. Go through the list of things. And if you don't have that list yet, then maybe that's a good place to start, is building that list. But, for me, that list is like, okay, I feel anxious. First thing I'm going to do is drink 3 glasses of water and sit in the sun. That didn't work. Okay, I'm going to do a workout. Okay, that didn't work. I'm going to call my friend, tell him how I'm feeling, and make myself a meal and listen to a song. And then if you're like, I'm still really struggling, no matter what I do, I'm just not okay. That's when you go, okay, what can be moved 2 days in the future?
Yeah.
This is actually an interesting one. If I'm struggling and I move everything to the next day, I find myself panicking. But if I'm struggling and I move everything 2 days later, then the next day, if I'm feeling better, I get to go, oh, I'm ahead of schedule. Let me do some of tomorrow's stuff and feel good about myself. And if not, then I'm like, okay, I still have time. But it's nice to not put so much time pressure on yourself. When it comes to holding yourself accountable, that's just a personal thing. Only you know what is procrastination and what is genuinely in support of your mental health, and that's just something you got to know for yourself.
I was gonna say, like, it's so funny because I read something. I don't know if it was like Carl Jung or something, but it was talking about how we feel like we're in charge of our own decisions in our minds, but really we're not. Like, we actually have to actively negotiate against ourselves.
It's really
and that's
true.
so fucking interesting. I never thought about that. Like, okay, Mike, lose weight, right? Eat everything perfect and lose weight. Go to the gym and just eat really clean. If that was like a singular decision, it would just happen. But it isn't. It's got to be, all right, I can have...
It's your higher self, bro.
I know, but it really is. Like, it's like, all right, I can have a cookie now because later I'll eat healthy. And if I go to the gym at 6, then I don't have to go tomorrow. And it's crazy the way we negotiate actively against ourselves.
It's at its heart, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's like you start with survival, and what your brain thinks is survival might be different on any given day, but that's going to be your baser instinct. And then, once you move up the levels of feeling comfortable and safe and well, then you can reach the self-actualization goals of, that's like one of those things where, like, I see a lot of people. This is a little bit of a tangent. You can cut it if it's not related. But I was thinking about your episode, Connor, of how you're talking about how everyone in LA is just like hot, right? And like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, why is that? Sure, it's because people come to LA to be in businesses where they look a certain way. But then I thought it's also because in LA, maintaining your physical appearance is a matter of survival. And so it becomes people's full-time job. People out here, and that's why people think everyone here is vain, and that might be true, but it's more than vanity. It's that people feel as though, and rightly
that's
so.
Their
because,
career on the line.
Yeah, whether you're an actor or a musician or whatever else, and I'm not saying this should be the case, but it is the case in a way that the way you look is part of how successful you are. And it's so unrealistic to compare yourself, if you are not in an industry that relies on your looks, to somebody who is in an industry that relies on the looks, because that's not your survival need. Your survival need is your job and your family and what you're doing with your life. You can't compare, because those needs are just on different levels.
It's so funny to say that, dude. The other day I caught myself. I was like, my mom just made some cookies. And I was like, fuck. I was like, Mom, I can't have any of those. She goes, Connor, just live a little bit. And I go, Mom, I've got an acting career on the line. And I was like, wait, Connor, just fucking eat a cookie, dude. I was like, God damn.
It's part of the reason I moved to music. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm not even
crazy,
gonna lie.
dude.
I get so down on myself because because if I get an audition and it says she's the hottest girl in school and I don't feel like I'm at my hottest that week, I'm in a tizzy.
It's hard,
panicking.
dude.
And with
really
music, I'm
is.
like, I can gain 50 pounds, I can lose whatever healthfully, and still I'm making my music.
Hey, Connor,
100%.
maybe start thinking about a music career, buddy.
I mean, hey, I got one song out, Change. Check it out. Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere.
Ew. You want to come drop some bars for me?
I'll come drop some bars for you, Kira. I actually have been practicing a lot in my room. But to add on to what we're talking about real quick. I really
You're
have.
so
I've been
fucking cute.
Justin Bieber.
that was so adorable. It was like so meek.
Justin Bieber's new album. I've been playing every song from it, singing, trying to hit the notes he does. I've been fucking crushing. I feel like JB in my own room. No, but if I could add one more quick thing to that, I saw a TED Talk, and I wish I could remember the person. I really do. But he was talking about how the way he has had ADHD, depression, anxiety his entire life, right? And what he would do is he'd make a list of things to do. But he'd say, hey, today, I'm just going to do this one thing. So he had a separate list from that. I'm just going to do that one thing on my list. He got it done. He felt a little bit accomplished. So guess what? He took another thing from that list. He threw it on. Hey, I did this one. Let me try to grab this one. Like he sectioned all of his
That's
things
so
off
smart.
one
I
by
can't
one.
believe I didn't talk about the number one tool against anxiety in this episode.
Dude, tell us
Lists.
now.
Yeah.
This is important, Kira.
Lists. Oh my God, the number of lists I have, because the more you have in
Bro.
lists, the less you have to have in your head. It's like
true.
It's so
It's like
true.
I
It clears it up.
I structure my schedule. I mean, I do a whole episode on time management. I schedule my structure.
We'll get you on
yeah,
again.
I structure my schedule in a way that I schedule time to think about scheduling time. Like I break it down so far that I have my free time and my work time so clearly defined, and all with more time than they actually need.
Yeah.
And then I, throughout the day, depending on how I'm feeling, move those things around. So at any given moment, I have a list of 5 things I need to do, 10 things I want to do, and 20 things I'll do whenever I have time, of various different things. Some are creative, some are administrative, whatever. And then at any given moment, if I'm like ahead of schedule, I grab one of them. If it doesn't fit now, I know exactly how much time in the next few days I have, and it just gets moved. I'm color-coded as a bitch. Oh my God.
God.
Lists,
Oh, come on.
Lists
My bitch
and
is
calendars.
color-coded, bitches.
That was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons my boyfriend and I fell in love. The moment we saw each other's calendars, and they were.
Shut
oh
up.
my
God.
God.
Y'all were both. He's like, wait, your Tuesday's pink?
Yeah,
so is
yeah,
mine.
The real moment, the moment I knew it was endgame was the moment we got we have our own family shared calendar now. We have one for just the two of us, and then one for the two of us that my dad sees as well, because he runs the studio. And
Oh
Shut
my
your
God.
Your mouth
that
right
was
now,
bigger
Kira.
than was bigger than getting married would be. We
That's
were
like
just
a shared bank
I'm
account.
overloading on cuteness right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
This is cuteness
cute.
overload.
I can't wait for him to come
No.
back. He's literally outside in the main house on his laptop. He's gonna be like, "So how'd it go?" And he'd be like,
I
talked
talked about you a
10
lot.
out of 10.
I should do more lists. I got one list, and it's like 100 things to do before I die. And it's
Yeah.
this list.
And they're all in
I'm-
post-it notes on your bedroom wall, right?
Dude,
in pink.
I never even spoke about that. It's a totally different podcast.
Sorry,
every
I
goal
hate
I
to
ever
out
had,
you like that.
every goal, really quick, and then I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
I gotta finish.
goal
I got 2 songs to finish tonight.
dude,
Oh.
I'm ready for them. And also, by the way, I need to hear some new music because, like, I miss it,
Bro,
dude. I
I got
miss
so
Yeah,
some
many
Kira,
music.
will you,
for you.
after the podcast, will you text me and Mikey and send us some of your
Yeah,
songs?
yeah. I got a link
Really?
of nine songs right now, and after tonight, hopefully it'll
Dude.
be 10 or 11.
We're your biggest fans, seriously. Like,
Thank
we
you guys.
Yeah, we love you, dude.
I'm so
Love your
excited.
music.
I can't wait to show you all this stuff. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, Kira, you're incredible, dude. And I'm so happy that we could finally get you on. I'm sorry that Mikey and I were such bitches. We were so nervous.
No, we
dude.
weren't. All right, relax, dude. You got
No,
Connor
no,
does not know how to play. He doesn't know how to play it cool at all. You're supposed to be like, yeah, we were a little bit nervous, and then it's endearing.
mean,
It's endearing
we
if there's a
weren't
little
nervous
bit.
at
Look,
all.
truly, what I will say to sort of end this thing off is that I have been in LA for almost 11 years, and I have come across a lot of really douchebaggy guys, and you two are not one of them. You are some of the loveliest, like, kindest,
Thanks,
like,
Kira.
feminist, wonderful men that I have known. You guys are great friends,
love you.
and you are supportive, and you have been such wonderful people in my life for a very long time. And so I'm
love
I'm
you,
very
Kira.
grateful to know you guys, and you guys are
That means
good
a lot
bros.
to us. We feel the same about you.
I'm not a douche
crying.
bro, as far as
Yeah,
you know.
You're not a douche, bro, but you are one of our favorite bros
That's
on
right.
the Woes of Bros.
Oh,
Thanks, bro.
shit.
Hey, thank you. That's a nice ass hat.
Thanks. I was
too,
gonna
dude.
wear it under my thing, but then it was crushing the sides, and I didn't want to break it.
That's all right, dude. You're still looking cute. Don't tell your man I said
Oh,
that. All right. Well, Kira, if you want to do any final plugs, where can we follow you? What can we see? Where can we see your music? What do you got coming out for us? Talk to us
Time for a
for a
little
couple more seconds.
shameless self-promotion. You guys can use that for all your episodes if you want.
Wow. New segment.
Yeah, so I'm all over the internet, having all various sorts of tomfoolery. My Instagram's Kira Kosarin, and I post various pictures of my face and things I care about. Twitter is Kira Kosarin, where I post about music things, political things, current event things. My TikTok is a TikTok, and I do TikTok-y things. So if you want to come see the TikTok-y things, that's a whole world in and of itself. It's at Kira Kosarin. Come be my 30 millionth follower. I dare you.
Whoa!
No, we're only,
Humble
we're, only at, we're only
brag.
at 23. Wow, that was a humble brag. I hate myself.
I love it.
I'm so sorry. I had to squeeze that in there. And most importantly, genuinely, Spotify. If you guys can follow my Spotify, like a couple songs, add them to playlists. Like, I've been an indie artist for a long time, and having like algorithms on my side is a game changer. So the more that you guys can help me fuck with the algorithm to get my music out to more people
Fuck
who
that
they can hear
algorithm.
it.
Fuck the
that would be
algorithm.
great. So yeah, follow my Spotify, listen to some songs, like them, save them, stream them, send them to your friends, whatever. If you like them.
For real, for those of you that don't like know Kira who are watching our podcast, go check her out. She is
Thank you.
incredible. She's
the best.
incredibly
And for
talented.
kids who do know me who are
Insane.
watching this podcast, I'm so sorry I curse. And
This is the real
Is
Kira,
that
by the way.
Phoebe from the Thundermans?
yeah.
This is the real Kira Kosarin right here.
My little cousin Kira,
sorry.
you've already made a video for her. She loves you.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
My little
You got-
cousin
you got a
loves
lot
you.
of love.
No,
Anyway,
Listen,
Kira-
this is my message to the youngins. If you guys are watching and your family worry about curse words, do what your family wants while you're there. But truly, like the things you need to avoid are like hateful words and racist words
Yes.
and
Yeah,
bigotry.
yeah,
Like those are the real curse words. Take those out of your vocabulary because you don't need them and they're awful. If you want to say the F word in private when no one else is around, let it out. You know, go underwater, scream it at the top of
Come
your
on.
lungs. It's fine.
All right, Kira, dude, thank you so much. We love you. Guys, I'm Connor Stoops.
I'm Mike Bloodstein.
And I'm Kira Kosarin.
And you just watched the Woes of Bros. Thank you so much, guys.
We
We'll
love
see
you
next
guys.
week.
Bye.
Later.
Awesome.
Later, Kira.